Do you think you're cool? Is it because you smoke? Do you have any idea of the effects smoking has? We bring in smoking lecturer Professor Shazaskovach to teach you how metals in cigarettes are killing us.
As a smoker, you probably don't think about all the chemicals in cigarettes. You're too busy thinking about how they help you cope with the stress of life and make you look cool. But did you know that out of the 4,000 chemicals in one cigarette alone, 400 of which are poisonous, arsenic is one of the most dangerous? You may have heard it described as rat poison.
Doesn't say this on here.
Arsenic is a naturally occurring, very poisonous element found in soil. It's both a metal and a non-metal. It can be found in two different compounds, organic and inorganic. Organic arsenic is made when you mix arsenic, carbon and hydrogen together, and inorganic arsenic is made when arsenic, chloride and sulfur combine. While the specific risks of arsenic in cigarette smoke is still to be defined, it's safe to say that inhaling this toxic chemical is hazardous to human health. Arsenic kills organisms by preventing the proper action of an important enzyme. This leads to death due to multi-system organ failure. When arsenic is inhaled, it can result in irritation of the skin and mucous membranes. They are strongly linked to lung cancer.
So it's like bad for you.
Yeah.
Cadmium has the symbol Cd. It is one of the most toxic heavy metals. A single cigarette contains about 1 to 2 micrograms of cadmium. Approximately 40 to 60% of all cadmium inhaled from cigarette smokes is able to pass through the lungs and into the body. Cadmium is a metal used mostly to make batteries. The majority of cadmium in our bodies come from exposure to tobacco smoke. Studies have found that the amount of cadmium present in tobacco smoke affect our health. It is a known cause of cancer and can also damage the kidneys and linings of the arteries. Cadmium can produce the following symptoms: nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, muscle cramps, salivation, sensory disturbances, liver injury, convulsions, shock, and renal failure. Long-term exposure to lower levels of cadmium can lead up to a build-up of cadmium in the kidneys and possible kidney disease. Other long-term effects include lung damage, bronchitis, fragile bones, pulmonary edema, difficulty breathing, anemia, and discoloration of teeth. Cadmium strongly absorbs to organic matter in soils. When cadmium is present in soils, it can be extremely dangerous, as the uptake of food will increase. Soils that are acidified enhance the cadmium uptake by plants. This is potential danger to the animals that are dependent upon the plants for survival. Cadmium can accumulate in their bodies, especially when they eat multiple plants. Cows may have large amounts of cadmium in their bodies due to this.
Cadmium has the mass number of 112 and the atomic number of 48. This means that there are 48 protons and 48 electrons. And that means there are 64 neutrons. Yay!
They are arranged like so in the nucleus, with 48 protons having a positive charge and 64 neutrons having a neutral charge. In the first shell there are 2 electrons, in the second there are 8, third 18, fourth 18, and last 2. Below this equals 48 electrons. Since cadmium is a metal, it would lose two of its electrons in its outer shell to be able to form an ion. It would be cadmium with a positive charge of 2. This is because there are now 2 more protons, which have a positive charge, than electrons, which have a negative charge. 8 naturally occurring isotopes of cadmium exist. They are cadmium-106 all the way to cadmium-116. Isotopes differ from each other in the element according to their mass number. The number written to the right of the element's name is the mass number. The mass number represents the number of protons plus electrons in the nucleus in the atom. The number of protons determines the element, but the number of neutrons in the atom of any one element can vary. Each variation is an isotope. Cadmium reacts with oxygen to give cadmium oxide. It reacts with hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, and nitric acid to make these salts. The melting point for cadmium is 321 degrees Celsius. Solid cadmium is inflammable, but a YouTube clip I saw showed how cadmium burns. It releases corrosive and toxic fumes.
Arsenic has the symbol As. It has a mass number of 75 and an atomic number of 33. This means it has 42 neutrons. They are arranged in a nucleus like this. The electron arrangement in the first shell is 2, 8 in the second, 18 in the third, and there are 5 in the outer shell. This equals 42 electrons with a negative charge. Arsenic is a metalloid. A metalloid is an element that has properties of both metals and nonmetals. The more common form of arsenic is a shiny grey, brittle, metallic-looking solid. The less common form is of a yellow crystalline solid. It is produced when vapours of arsenic are cooled suddenly. Second-hand smoke is composed of the smoke released from a burning end of a cigarette, which is side-stream smoke, and mainstream smoke that has been exhaled by a smoker. Second-hand smoke is known to contain at least 250 toxic chemicals, including 15 that are known to cause cancer. Every year, about 5,000 people die prematurely from smoking. That includes deaths from passive smoking, people who die because others around them smoke. If these people were to live to the natural term of their lives, then New Zealand's population would be 2% bigger, which means we would have 80,000 more people. The cost of smoking-related healthcare to the New Zealand taxpayer is about $250 million. There are also costs from litter, accidents and fires. The government spends $28 million a year on smoking cessation and prevention programs. In addition, the government loses income and other tax revenue from the lower productivity of sick smokers and because dead smokers don't work or pay taxes.
It is officially believed because I wasn't given the amount of money for top crime. If a person's body has been damaged by smoking, there is a lot of medicines can do. Smoking also impacts me that I don't get to decide. Passive smoking. I don't like the way I don't get a choice in breathing someone else's toxic chemicals. Cadmium and arsenic are 2 of the many metals and 2 of the 4,000 chemicals in cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes not only affects the smoker, but the society in which they reside. We think that we should first of all lessen the amount of toxic chemicals in cigarettes, whether they are supposed to be in there or not. If they enter through contaminated soil into the tobacco plant, then we should make sure that our soil remains clean and non-polluted. By lessening the amount of toxins in cigarettes, less death and less people will be diagnosed with cancer caused by smoking. We hope many other smokers will be informed about all the effects smoking can have and thus make them quit. One day, hopefully in the next 15 years, we will have a smoke-free New Zealand.